Let me turn off my phone because that's always an issue. Okay, you know this is going to be tough to go over if before you even get into the complaint, there is already a warning letting you know that some of you might feel some discomfort just reading the complaint with the allegations in it. This is the lawsuit that Cassandra Ventura, I didn't know her last name. Yeah, I just knew she sang that one song. There might be some others, but there was really the only one that I knew about. AKA Cassie is suing Sean Combs, Mr. Bad Boy Entertainment himself. And we're going to look at the allegations in this complaint. But I'm just going to go ahead and put this warning out there. You might want to skip this if this is not your thing.
Yeah.
And there you see it. I'm going to let you read it for yourself. Now, this is coming out of the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, where so many of these lawsuits come from. And let me make this a little bit bigger so we can, not have to strain ourselves to read this a little bit bigger there. All right, Cassandra Ventura suing, she's the plaintiff, suing, let's see who our parties are here. Sean Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Epic Records, didn't realize that, Combs Enterprises LLC, and then Doe Corps, whoever these other parties are, who may have been a part of the problem too. I had a chance to glance at this. I haven't read through the whole thing, and we're actually only going to go through this first part in this video. I'm just going to sort of break this down so we can really take an in-depth look at this. Doe Corps, I'm mentioning that only because there are times in this when she is stating that other people, other individuals, other employees had or participated in some of the things being able to take place that took place. I don't even know how to describe it. Let's go ahead. As we go through this, let me just go ahead and give you a heads up. As we go through this, I'm going to be really careful about what I say out loud, and I may just put some things in here for you to take a moment to read yourself. YouTube sent me sort of this sort of little update thing that said we're being more lenient about some of our content, but you just never know what they're going to flag and what's going to go somewhere and what isn't. So I'm going to be really careful about what I say out loud and what I don't, because I know that you can read. All right, let me click on this so we can actually see where we're going here. Complaint. She has demanded a jury trial. We already went through the defendant's preliminary statement. We're going to go through the preliminary statement here. All right, defendant Sean Combs is a rapper and record executive, popularly known by his stage names, and she lists them all: Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, or Diddy, or Puffy, or there's some other ones out there. Mr. Combs came to fame in the early 1990s with his record label, Bad Boy Records. He rose to prominence in the music and entertainment industry over the decades and is regularly referred to as a hip hop mogul. I think what they're trying to do here is really sort of paint this picture of his influence. In 2022, Mr. Combs received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards. During his acceptance speech, Mr. Combs stated, "I have to give a special shout out, thank you, love to the people that was really here or there for me." Sorry. He named a number of people before adding, "and also Cassie for holding me down in the dark times, love." Now, we don't know what those times were about, and it sounds like he was talking about his times and not her times. And now in this allegation, we're going to hear a little bit more about this. All right, so here's where she starts to talk about this. The truth, however, is that Cassie, Ms. Cassandra Ventura, was held down by Mr. Combs and endured over a decade of his behavior here and his demands. She says, for Ms. Ventura, the dark times were those she spent trapped by him in a cycle of, and you see what is listed there. You see what is listed there. Among these unlawful acts, she now gives a specific listing here of what happened. And you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet points here where she really is very specific about some of the incidents that took place. And some of these incidents, not just emotional, not just verbal, but she is listing some physical instances here. And then let's take a look at bullet number 3. It sounds like this didn't extend just to her, but to someone else that she may have been involved with. And then bullet number 4 takes it further to a whole nother level here. So I'm going to scroll down here. Number 7 says he was the one who introduced her to a certain lifestyle. Now let's think about, now you've had a chance to look at all of those. Number 4 says Ms. Ventura met Mr. Combs in 2005 when she was 19 years old and he was 37 years old. My daughter is 22. These numbers, this is when they talk about the math, not mathing, or somebody should have talked about the math. He signed her to his label Bad Boy Records, and within a few years lured Ms. Ventura into an ostentatious, fast-paced, and as you see, sort of fueled lifestyle, and into a romantic relationship with him, her boss, one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry, and a vicious, cruel, and controlling man, nearly 2 decades her senior. So let's just talk about the power dynamic here for a second. First of all, I just told you what the ages were. She was 19. When you are 19, you don't know a thing about the way the world works. You don't. You just don't. He was 37. He knew quite a bit more. Number 1 was not to get involved with a 19-year-old. Okay, but this is me sharing my personal opinion here. He signed her to a label, and so now he is her boss and a powerful man in the entertainment industry. 2 decades her senior, her boss, in power. So you tell me how wrong that appears based on the allegations in this complaint. Number 5 says Mr. Combs asserted complete control over Ms. Ventura's personal and professional life, thereby ensuring her inability to escape his hold. Now, if this goes to trial, because she has demanded a jury trial, if this goes to trial, this to me is one of these pieces that is going to be really, really crucial, because what you're going to be talking about, and I think she hits on a little bit of this later, is, you know, her relationship with her family. Did he control that? Where she went and who she was around, did he control that? Finances, did he control that? I mean, so, you know, all of this would come out during the trial when she's saying he asserted this kind of control over her and then took her down this path. He provided unprecedented avenues for success for the aspiring artist, but in return demanded obedience, loyalty, and silence. Throughout their relationship, Mr. Combs was prone to uncontrollable rage and frequently, and you see how this is being described here, and she's alleging that there are witnesses to this. Were witnessed by Mr. Combs' staff and employees of Bad Boy Entertainment and Mr. Combs' related businesses, but no one dared to speak up against their frightening and ferocious boss. Following these episodes, he would immediately attempt to hide her and the evidence. He often showered her with gifts. Now, we have heard about this sort of pattern of behavior before, where the person does the wrong and then the person apologizes and tries to make up for the actions that that person did. In addition to the physical assaults, I said a word, Mr. Combs frequently reminded her of his ability to, look at that. Imagine being in a situation where the person is continually reminding you of what they can do, whether by requiring her to, look, here's this sort of subtlety. Here's the subtlety of this sort of reminder of the level to which things can go to, right? And then this last part about the blowing up of the car. And I did read somewhere that this person actually confirmed that he had a car and the car was blown up. The question would just be, well, who was responsible for that? Adding insult to injury, Mr. Combs, okay, and then you have all of this here in number 9. Now, you know, one of the things I think would come out during the trial is, what's the timeline for some of these? Because once you start with someone really young, you know, and you take that kind of control and they see you as this person of power and influence, and so they acquiesce to the things that you want. And over time, what the other party is doing can escalate. And so you see here in number 9, you've then got these other people who are now becoming involved. Over the years, Mr. Combs, you can see all of that there. It says every time she hid, Mr. Combs' vast network of corporations and affiliated entities found her. And those who worked for Mr. Combs' companies implored her to return him. And now you get an understanding of why all of these other companies and these Doe corporations are also included in this too, because she is likely going to be going after them too. Not just because you had constructive knowledge of what was going on, but you had actual knowledge of what was going on, and you participated in it. I would talk about another R&B, a person whose colleagues got in trouble because what they engaged in, their own actions that allowed that R&B singer to continue to do wrong. Many went as far as to explicitly state that her failure to return would hinder her success in the entertainment industry. That is no different from what we heard in the movie industry among, Harvey Weinstein and some others. When she believed that she had finally separated from her longtime person here, she joined him for a dinner, after which he forced her into her home. And as you see, she repeatedly said no, but that did not seem to stop him, according to these allegations. It says she has now fully escaped Mr. Combs, but the harm that all of this he caused her to experience for nearly a decade will forever haunt her. She has required intensive medical and psychological care to recover. She cannot, however, continue to live in silence about what she endured. He remains immensely powerful and immensely dangerous. She therefore seeks justice for the decade of her life that he took away from her with what he did here. And so you see here the laws that are listed. And then, of course, we are in New York. And so I'll come back and go through parties and all that at another time. So, and that's not the only thing I'm going to go to too, because that was just sort of the intro. We are going to get into these factual allegations where she really lays out, I don't want to call it the tea, she lays out the details here. I think it's very important for us to keep in mind how someone in power, someone of influence, someone of great means can now put another person in a position where these things occur. Now, as a reminder, these are just allegations, right? These are just allegations. She has requested a jury trial, and we're going to see where this goes. So that's it for the first video, just sort of giving you the background. This whole piece about, he went to the awards and said, thank you for holding me down and for being by my side. And yeah, so she says it wasn't quite like that. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can stay up to speed with what's going on. And peace.